Okay, good morning to everyone. In the yesterday's class, we were discussing about the how exactly the dry weather flow is different from the wet weather flow. Um, we also discussed different types of sewage systems. So the first one is separate flow. Second one is combined flow, and the third one is partially combined flow means some part of the flow is separated out and some part of the flow is combined with the uh, rainwater systems. Now, this we also already discussed that how exactly or how much quantity of the wastewater is going to generate from households and how exactly it can be considered. I already said that it is dependent on the the rate of demand or LPCD, water demand. If you say if you are considering the LPCD as 135 liter per capita per day, means each person's if it is 135 liters per capita per day, so 80% of that will be generated as the wastewater. So and also very important that we have to consider some peak factor. Why we have to consider the peak factor means sometimes um, in emergency if more quantity of water is required, in that cases it is always go for at the higher side. So that is why if you are considering, assume that you require around 1000 liters per day, try to multiply with 2 to 3 times. What the IS code will say that always you have to multiply either with the help of 2 or it is with a multiplication factor of 3 as a factor of safety in future. Of course, we'll do the population forecasting, but still, other than that, the population forecasting, still the multiplication of the maximum demand is always required. That always we will say it is the maximum demand. It is not the normal or the average demand. Always you have to go with the maximum demand. If you say it is 135 liters per capita per day, but it may not be the same at all the seasons and it may not be the same. Sometimes it will be less during the winter season. Normally, you won't take that much bath or whatever it is, you won't use it. But during summer season, it may not be the same. Of course, it will reach sometimes 220 to 30 liters per capita per day. With respect to that, automatically you are going to generate the quantity of sewage also. So of course, this the total quantity of sewage generated per day is estimated as the product of forecasted population at the end of the design period, considering the per capita sewage generation and appropriate peak factor. I already said that the peak factor should be considered 2 to 3 times. And always the sewage generation can be considered as 75 to 80%. The standard is 75 to 80%, but normally we'll take it as 80% of the per capita water supplied per day. The increase in population also result in increase in per capita water demand and hence the per capita production of the sewage also be considered. So this increase in water demand occurs due to the increase in living standards, betterment in the economical conditions, changes in in the habit of the people, and enhanced demand for the public utilities. So normally, what will happen is that the last sentence it depends on the living standards. When you say it is a living standards, always you should target the type of peoples are there or type of peoples are staying in that locality. That matters a lot. because if the living standards are high, normally we say that the use of the water is also very high. It is directly proportional. If you go in detail, you'll come to know whatever the living standards are there, it is directly proportional to the water consumption. Sometimes, if the economic conditions are good, nowadays um, less water usage type of washing machines are also available. If you buy, maybe it's a little bit costlier, but if you use that kind of um, washing machines, normally the water usage will be less. But of course, depends on the economic conditions of the lives also. It depends on the type of habitats. If the poor peoples or if some kind of peoples are staying in some of the slum areas, the water usage is completely totally different from the city areas. Even that also we have to consider it. So then, what are the factors that are going to affect the quantity of sewage flow? So these are four main factors. This is a very important question as the examination point of view. This question normally it will be there in your final exams. Whatever the sewage generation, the quantity of sewage is mainly affected by the following factors. The first one, there's a population. Second one, the type of area. The third one, rate of water supply. The fourth one, infiltration and exfiltration. When you say it is the first one, population, of course it is as the population is go on increasing, normally the sewage flow is also going to increase. Means the per capita demand is going to increase. So if you say the per capita demand increase, uh, means rather if you are using 100 peoples, if 1000 peoples are there, the quantity of water, whatever the water demand it will be, the more quantity of water flow is also always more. Then automatically uh, the whatever the sewage flow, if you take the 82% of that water demand, of course it will be more. Means it is directly proportional to the quantity of the sewage generation. As the population increases, the quantity of sanitary sewage also increases. The quantity of water supply is equal to the rate of water supply multiplied by the population. Of course, that you already know how exactly it can be calculated. So you already studied many methods of population forecasting in your fourth semester. If you namely called arithmetic increase method, uh, geometric increase method, incremental increase method, logistic curve method, graphical comparative method. Like that, many are there. Normally, we'll use based on the cities, based on the conditions that we will use it. Normally, we'll use the geometric increase method um, if it is for rural people, where the growth is constant, slightly it is constant. If you say the 10 years decade, 10 years, the increase will be very less. So that is why normally we'll use it the geometric increase method, or sometimes we'll use arithmetic increase method. But if you go with some of the cities like Bangalore, or metropolitan cities like Chennai, uh, where migration is also very high, and the increasing the population is also very high. You cannot predict it. So in that cases, normally we'll go for incremental increase method, or we'll go with the logistic curve method, where the growth is in a log scale. Means almost it is exponential. If you take an example of Bangalore city, year by year, the growth is always exponential. Means you cannot predict the migrations, and exactly we cannot calculate how many people are staying in Bangalore city. In that cases, normally either you have to use the incremental increase method, or you have to use the logistic curve method. Then, uh, based on that, you have to choose uh, for what purpose I'm using, or I'm going for the population forecasting. So then, second factor, it is the type of area covered. Means whatever the sewage generation is depends on the type of area is there. So the quantity of sanitary sewage also depends on the type of area as a residential, industrial, or it is commercial. When you say it is residential, means only the residential areas demand will be there. Means if you take an village of around 100 people, only that demand it will be there. But when it comes to the industrial sectors, maybe in the fourth semester you already studied water demand for each of the industries. Maybe on table was given in many of the books. In that books you have seen that for each industry, for example, sugar industry, um, how much water is required for sugar industry, and how much water is required for paper and pulp industry, how much water is required for food industry, how much water is required for the textile industry. So if you consider all those things, the first priority it will be like even you power plants, thermal power plants, the highest consumption of water. If you take in the top priority of the industries, uh, the first priority it will be like thermal power plants where the maximum water can be utilized. Second one, the refinery industries like Mangalore refinery industries. The third priority it will be paper and pulp industries. Fourth, it will be sugar industries. Why means there water is required. If without water, the plant will not run. So then later on, you have a food industry. Well, because there the water requirement is more for different industrial purposes. If you say thermal power plant is considering as an first priority, because cooling of the towers is required continuously um, for thermal power plants. Without that, it is highly impossible. Even you cannot run even for a single minute that plant. Then second one is refinery. It's the same case. During the refining process means during the petroleum refining process, normally the heating process will be there. Means normally we can call it as a distillation process. If you say it is a distillation process, it is always the heating process. So when you start heating the crude oil in refining industry, normally, if you ask me like how petrol and diesel can be produced, um, crude oil will be imported from the Saudi countries. It will come through the sea itself, and it will uh, join to the refining industry, and there the crude oil will be heated. Once the crude oil will be heated, at the topmost, whatever the vapors or what we can call it is the gases, it is nothing but the LPG, liquid petroleum gas, what we will use in our houses. Then second priority, it will be naphthalene, petrol, diesel, kerosene, and the last it will be tar. So when this is required, always you have to heat that crude oil. Once heating process is there, Surrounded by, you have to cool that all towers, whatever the towers will be there inside, the heating is going to happen. So once you start heating, the surrounding area is going to be heated, then you have to cool it. For that reason, continuously water supply is required. So means even 1 minute, if you don't provide the water, sometimes a disaster is going to happen. So continuously it is required. Then next come to the paper and pulp industry. First washing and even preparing of the pulp, that we will discuss in detail maybe in the next chapters, how exactly the refining process is going to happen. Preparation of the pulp itself requires um, lot of industry same process. There also heating will be there. Wherever to use the quantity of water. So then if industries are there, water requirement will be very huge and it has to be calculated based on the process itself. Then or commercial. Some of the commercial activities if you are doing that, so there also the water requirement will be totally different. Then based on that you have to calculate it. Then quantity of sewage developed from the residential areas depends on the rate of water supply to that area, which is expressed in liters per capita per day. Of course, this quantity is obtained by multiplying the population and with the factor. This we already know how exactly we have to calculate it. Then third one is rate of water supply. Truly speaking, the quantity of used water discharged into sewer systems should be little less than the amount of water originally supplied to the community. Means always whatever we are calculating, whichever we are discharging to the sewer systems, it should be less than the amount of water originally supplied to that community. That is, we already said that it is predicted 70 to 80%. Why this is 75 to 80 or 80%? Why we are considering this is what the reason. This is because of the fact that all the water supplied does not reach to the sewers, owing to such losses as leakage in the pipes or such reductions such as lawn sprinkling, manufacturing process, etc. So always the leakage, even if you are saying that 100% leak proof, it may not happen in practical conditions. Always it will happen, like 5 to 10% of always leakage it will be there. So that has to be deducted. So that is why we always have to consider it 80% of uh, the water demand. However, these losses may be largely be made up by such additions as surface drainage, groundwater infiltration, water supply from the private wells, etc. On an average, therefore, the quantity of sewage may be considered nearly equal to the quantity of water supplied, but will not consider it on an average by reducing 20% of that. So then groundwater infiltration and exfiltration. This also depends on the type of sewage flow. So infiltration causes increase to the legitimate flows in urban sewerage systems. Means of course whatever the infiltration is there, it will causes to the increase in the sewage flow. If any joints will be there in the sewerage system, always there is a possibility of the due to water pressure on the above the water surface, always the tendency is to join the water into the sewage system. In that cases, wherever the possibilities are there, always the infiltration uh, causes the increase in the sewage system. Infiltration represents a slow response process resulting in an increase in the flow mainly due to seasonably elevated groundwater entering to the drainage system and primarily occurring through defects in the pipe network. One thing is that due to the defects in the pipes, always the tendency is to um, escape to the defects and to increase the sewage flow. Second one is sometimes if the groundwater table is very high, then means if it is near to the surface, then always the tendency is to enter into the sewage network itself. Then exfiltration represents the losses from the sewer pipes, resulting in reducing the conveyance flows and is due to the leaks from the defects in the sewer pipes, walls, as well as the workflow discharge into the manholes, chambers connecting surface water pipes. The exfiltration is, you can say it is coming out from the sewerage systems. When the water is coming from the sewer systems, normally you can say there is a losing of sewage flow from the sewers, and finally once it is coming out from the leakages or the joints or the defects, ultimately it is going to reach to some of the stormwater drains. Once this is happening, whatever the stormwater drains are there, that are going to become the sewage discharge points. So then the purpose of designing the stormwater drains, we are going to miss or we are going to lose it. Whatever we'll do, the purpose has to be served and the priority should be given to that purpose only. Here what will happen is that once exfiltration is happening, the purpose of the stormwater drain to collect the rainwater is not going to be served. Then it has to be used for sewage flow. Then ultimately we know that this sewage is going to join the finally rivers itself. Once this is happening, means you are going to contaminate the surface water body very effectively, and what is happening is that whatever the manholes or the chambers or connecting surface water pipes are going to become overflow, and ultimately the purpose of the sewers has whatever it is there, it is not going to serve. The physical defects are due to the combination of the factors including poor construction and pipe joint fittings, root penetration, illicit connections, biochemical corrosion, soil conditions, and traffic loadings, as well as the aggressive groundwater. If we already know the poor construction and the pipe joints, if leakage is there, this exfiltration is going to happen. Then, very importantly, root penetration. Even a small leakage or you already know the collars in the pipe joints, even a small space is there, then always tendency of the root is to penetrate into that space provided or the defects available in the pipes. Then if that case is there, slowly the root is going to enter, once the small root is entered into the pipelines, slowly it is going to increase its size. Once it is going to increase its size, total the block is going to happen inside the pipelines. So once it is blocked, again you have to cut it and you have to repair it. So root penetration is always it is going to happen in most of the village areas. This is common problem because always in the village areas many trees will be there compared to the city. So there this possibility is more. Then illegal connections. This is also very important. Sometimes, according to the corporation, whatever the connections they will give it perfectly and they will rejoin it properly. But once this illegal connections are there, means it is uncounted water or illegal connections, normally the defects will be very high in the pipeline systems. In that cases, also the exfiltration is going to happen. So then biochemical corrosion. See, suppose crown corrosion is one common problem in case of sewer networks. The crown corrosion is nothing but when sewage flow is there inside the pipeline. Already you know that the sewer lines will be made up of the cement pipes. In the cement pipes, the always steel reinforcement will be there. When the steel reinforcement will be there, always the tendency is to go for the corrosion. Then how exactly this crown corrosion is going to happen? Crown means at the top of whatever the pipe, cement pipe will be there, the corrosion is going to happen. Then what causes this corrosion? Normally, the sewage, if it is there, always it is having the inside like sulfur dioxide. Always it is like these gases are going to generate inside the sewer lines. That is nothing but the SO2. When this SO2 is going to combine with water, means SO2 plus H2O, then normally it is going to cause the H2SO4. H2SO4, as you already know that it is the acid, sulfuric acid. So when these droplets or sulfuric acid droplets are going to accumulate at the top of the sewer network, then slowly the corrosion is going to start. Once this corrosion is going to start, slowly the top surface, whatever it is there, we are going to lose it, and the potential of holding the sewage as well as holding the topsoil also we are going to lose it. Once we are losing it, means slowly the pipe material is going to damage, then we have to replace it. And even it depends on the soil conditions as well as the traffic loadings. If more traffic conditions are there, or if the soil condition is not good, always the tendency is to go for the exfiltration. Sometimes this is sometimes what will happen is that if you are lateritic basin, sometimes the exfiltration will be very less compared to some of the blackouts in soil and all those things, because if you see the exfiltration coefficient always will determine it for each of the soils. The exfiltration coefficients are the factors or the coefficients. From that we can say that for which soil the exfiltration is going to become fast, or which soil the exfiltration is going to become less. So then the design period. Why this design period is very important when you start going for designing any of these networks or designing any sewage network or water supply distribution. network. We already studied that water supply distribution networks are to be designed for 30 to 40 years from the date of the commencement. Means once you design it, at least it should be feasible for next 30 years. Then you have to predict the population for 30 years. Then once you predict it for that population, you have to quantify it and you have to lay the pipelines. Similarly, for sewer networks also, we have to design it for 30 to 40 years. So whenever you are designing all those things, you have to use the CPHEO manual, that is the Central Public Health Environmental Engineer Organization. CPHEEO manual will use it, or you can use IS 1172 for designing any water supply distribution network or sewer network. There they have strictly mentioned that how much you have to say it or how much you have to quantify it. So the future period for which the provision is made in designing the capacities of various components of the sewer schemes is known as the design period. The design period depends on the following, of course. So ease and difficulty in expansion, it depends. Amount and availability of the investment. So anticipated area of population growth, including the shifts in communities and industries and commercial investments. So some of the hydraulic constraints of the systems designed, life of the materials and equipments. You already know this. So when you are saying these are all the difficulties will be there, and each and every factor you have to consider when you are going for the design period. So then when you are designing the laterals, means house connections, if you are giving a 15 centimeter diameter, then go with the full development of complete means about 70 to 80 years. So main sewers, when you are designing it, you have to go for 40 to 50 years. So when you are designing it for treatment plants or treatment units, water supply treatment unit or wastewater treatment plant units, 50 to 20 years. Pumps, if you are designing it, 5 to 10 years. Why the, even if you ask me that why sewers are higher, treatments are very less, compared to pumpings are still less than the other. Once the sewers are laid, so it is permanent means population forecasting you have to do, and 80% of that you have to calculate it and you have to complete it. Treatment plants, why we are restricting to only 15 to 20 years means as the days passing out, the wastewater characteristics are changing. If you say now, the advanced wastewater treatment plant and the conventional wastewater treatment plant, conventional means it is the old one. Old treatment plants are not working properly nowadays because their wastewater treatment plants are designed for their character at 20 years, 30 years back characteristics. Now the human lifestyle is changing. You are getting many pesticides in most of the sewages. The conventional treatment plants will not handle all those pesticides, or you cannot remove it. If you want to remove all those things, then normally you have to go for the lesser periods, because once you design it, it is very difficult to reconstruct it. So it is better to plan it for 15 to 20 years. So assuming that the constant characteristics will be there for 15 to 20 years, then after that again you have to check the characteristics of the wastewater which is generating on that day, then you have to modify it. Then why pumping plants 5 to 10 years? Normally the demands will go on changing, and whatever the pump, normally it will come for, once you implement it, it will be there for 10 years. Then again the repairs and everything it will come. Always the pumping units, pumps, whatever the repairs it will be there, or it is going to uh, it is going to become replaced sometime up to 10 years, because that much validity it will be there or warranty, it will be there. Again, you have to redesign it. That is why it will be lesser years. Okay, then this variation in sewage flow, we will discuss in the next class. So if you have any questions, you can ask.